Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the Blind Gooner and welcome to the preview and predicted lineup of Sheffield United versus Arsenal in the FA Cup quarterfinals. So, I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're all keeping well. I hope you're all having a wonderful weekend with whatever you're doing. And without further ado, I'm going to introduce my guests. And with me, first of all, we've got Simpy. How are you, Simpy?
Hey, Daniel. Hey, Sam. Hey, Nitesh. Big up everyone in the chat. Yeah, I'm doing well, thank you.
Yeah, and second, I've got Sam. How are you, Sam?
I'm good, thanks, Daniel. Thanks for having me on, and good to see Simpy and Nitish here again, and everyone else in the chat. Yep, thanks for having me.
And last but not least, always late to the party, hence why the streams are a few minutes late. We got Nitesh.
Yeah, I'm actually just setting a few things up, and probably you might not be able to see me yet. And that is when Sam said that, nice to see you. I was like, you can't actually see me yet. So it will just take me a minute. I'm just setting a few things up. And yes, you can hear me and you'll be able to see me as well.
Yeah, no worries. And I hope you can all see me all right, because I've not got my lights on at the moment. So if ever it gets a little bit dark, let me know and I'll go and switch on the lights. But yeah, I hope you can all see us all in the chat. Thanks for everybody who's joining. And without further ado, let's get into the preview. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by dissecting Arteta's press conference. So Simpy, if you've got them up there, if you've got the transcript up there.
I've shared my screen.
Have you? Yeah, right.
Yeah,
hold on one sec.
I've not read it myself either, so this is fresh for me.
Big up the Poons in the chat.
So there we go. We should have Simpy's screen.
Yeah. So.
Simpy, if you take us through the press conference, and then we'll dissect it afterwards.
Yeah, so I'll ignore the bits about Liverpool where it talks about Liverpool.
I don't need to hear about them.
Yeah. So he mentioned some stuff about Sheffield United. So about what catches his eye about Sheffield United. So the idea of how they play and how they approach football games, clear plans, clear things, clear patterns and roles. They have a manager who's transmitted to the players of how he wants to play. They did really well last year. Yeah, exactly. They did well this last year, and this season they've done well, and look where they are now. And he's also one key thing as well for everyone is he mentioned about how he's going to switch between his Premier League squad and FA Cup squad. So he said we've been unfortunate because of how many injuries we've picked up over the last few weeks, and we've got to recover. We've got to give our players recovery. We're playing every 3 days, and with the current climate being so hot, it's getting harder and harder. We're going to have to use some of the players in the last game, but we'll have to rotate some of them as well. So we'll have to manage the squad now in the best possible way, because we're playing on Wednesday, then Saturday, and then Wednesday again. So the games are catching up, and players are still not in the best condition to compete. So yeah, we're going to have to be swapping around quite a lot of players. I'll ignore that about the FA Cup and about Wembley, about the crowd on young players. So I have a lot of faith in young talent that we have at the football club. We need the right stability and the right foundations around to make sure that they develop in the right way. So I think looking at some of the training pictures that I saw today, we did have quite a few youth players involved as well. So I'm going to be thinking that some of them are going to be either starting or on the bench. I'm thinking they're going to maybe start, and then he's going to bring on some of the young players due to fitness and stuff. The team news is still the same as well. So all the injury updates and injury list is still the same. So there's no update on that. Then there was reports about Guendouzi. So we've seen reports over the last couple of days about him potentially going to Leicester, going to Real Madrid, going to PSG and teams like that. So it's just said it's all being dealt with privately, not public, not out on the public. And yeah, that is pretty much in summary everything to do with like the FA Cup. Everything to do with the FA Cup in his press conference.
I want to start with the Guendouzi links. What do you guys make of that? Because do you know what? Arteta's reaction for me says that there's got to be some truth in the reports, because if it wasn't true, he would just come out and say, listen, nah, it's not true. It's not. If it wasn't true, I know, like it. That he's not going to come out and say, yeah, it's true. But the way he said, oh, that's being dealt with in-house, kind of says to me that there is a little bit of substance to the story. If it wasn't true, most managers just come out and flatly deny it and say, no, it's not true. He's an important part of the team. He's an integral part of the squad. But he didn't. He just come out and said it's been dealt with in-house, which kind of suggests to me that there is something going on there. And we know Arteta and Guendouzi have had issues over the last week or so. So yeah, what do you guys make of that? Sam, I'm going to start with you.
But you're talking about the Guendouzi situation, yeah? Is that
yeah?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's quite clear that he's punished Guendouzi for his actions during the game against Brighton, and it comes, I think, on top of him already having problems with him from before. We know there was an incident in Dubai in the winter break when they was down there travelling for their training session and break session in Dubai. Apparently, he did something down there as well that it had to be reprimanded by Arteta. So I think we might be in a situation with Guendouzi where he is a very talented player with a lot of ability, but he needs to realise he has to have the right attitude and mentality as well, not just the ability as a football player, but he has to have the right, psyche and mentality as well. We've seen it before, unfortunately, with several of our talents, earlier. But I mean, one player especially comes to mind, Jermaine Pennant, extremely talented winger who, as we know, had huge problems outside the pitch, always getting into trouble. And, on the pitch as well was also very aggressive and always getting into disputes. Had a huge, mentality and attitude problem. We saw how that went with the Jermaine Pennant. It didn't end well. So, listen, I'm not saying Guendouzi is another Jermaine Pennant, but I think Guendouzi needs to learn from this. And the rumours are saying that he wants to go. That Guendouzi's had enough now. He wants to leave Arsenal. I think the rumours are that he's had enough of the team and enough of Arteta. He wants to move on. At the same time, it could be Guendouzi maybe a bit fed up with the players and everything, because Guendouzi has been. You saw last season he was one of the players who actually on the pitch actually put in 100% and gave his all and dug in tackles and things like that, while the rest of the players were pulling out like an afraid teenager on prom night. So. It's. I think it shows a bit about that as well. Maybe he feels that the club isn't, in terms of ambition and the level that he would like them to be, that they're not there where he expects either as a player. I know that's probably sounds very, like a prima donna and maybe someone really trying to, play their own trumpet a bit. Only being 21, recently 21 years old, but he's got that level of potential and already being in and out of the French senior squad at that age. I think he's starting to realise he has some ambition and wants to play at the highest level, and I think he's probably being a bit frustrated by the situation at Arsenal with the players around him. I think that's probably frustrating him playing its role as well, but of course he should not act and do the things he does, but I think it works a bit both ways. It's not just him being petulant and having a poor attitude. I think it also comes from what he's experiencing in the club, that the club and Arteta are not meeting expectations, basically. So yeah, that's what I think around the Guendouzi situation.
And the other thing as well is that if these rumours are true, and that Guendouzi wants to leave, we could also command a big fee for him because he's still on a big contract, and he's listen, as you alluded to right there, he's still quite young, and obviously we know that if we was to let him go to another Premier League team, we could probably get a huge fee, which we could go and reinvest in the squad. Because let's be honest, right? I'm not fully
talking 40 million. Yeah, so 40 million is the rumoured fee apparently, and there's big clubs abroad.
Arsenal wants 40 million euros for him.
Yeah,
40 million. So what's obviously 40 million is not.
It's close to something close to £8, isn't it? It's close to it.
Which means that most of that, if we're playing devil's advocate, most of that could go on the Thomas Partey deal. Which, listen, Thomas Partey is. Listen, I like Guendouzi. The only thing is, for a guy with attitude problems, he's got to back it up on the pitch, and I don't think he's fully doing that at the moment. Listen, Guendouzi is a talent, and there's talent there, no questions about it. But the way that he acts, and if you believe the reports, is that he's got ideas above his level at the moment. And fair play, if he was banging in goals and controlling that midfield and players not pulling their weight, then you could probably sort of say, okay, he's got a case. He might have a little bit of a case. At least with the only situation that I can compare it to is probably the Sanchez situation. But at least with Sanchez, is that he backed it up on the pitch. Like he was by far in the way our best player when he was at Arsenal. Whereas I don't think Guendouzi is by far our best player.
I think the thing is with if you're going to be a prima donna, you better be the best player at the club. I mean, because it doesn't work. It doesn't work being an average player and being a prima donna. It doesn't. That doesn't go together, does it?
And I would be happy if he left the club. He wouldn't be one of those players that I'd be like, fucking hell, we've lost one of our best players. If that money went into, and this is obviously the big if that money went into getting someone like Thomas Partey, then you could probably say that actually selling Guendouzi and using the money for that is probably the best situation. Yeah, obviously, if that money went on to rubbish, then you could sort of say, okay, Arsenal's done it again. And then obviously if Guendouzi goes on to reach for the stars, so to speak, and we'll have lost a good player. But listen, I would listen, if a player doesn't want to be here, there's no point in keeping him. I said this, same situation with Aubameyang. Listen, if he doesn't want to be here, what's the point in prolonging the inevitable? Because at the end of the day, you're only going to end up with an unhappy player. And we saw with Aubameyang, he wanted out of Dortmund, and even the last few games he played for Dortmund, you could just see that he was strolling around strolling around the pitch like he couldn't care less. Whereas Guendouzi, I think, with his attitude, he would probably do that just to force through a move. So listen, if a player's not 100% committed to Arsenal, then I'm sorry, you either give 100% or you don't. You can't give 90% and your mind be elsewhere. So if you're not 100% committed, then I would be open to selling it. For me, like if I was Arteta and Guendouzi said to me, I don't want to be here, I wouldn't even play him. I wouldn't even play him again because Arteta's got a choice to make. Does he play a player that doesn't want to be here, or does he make a stand and say, right, you're not fully committed to this, what I'm trying to achieve. You're not fully committed to the project. Why am I going to play you? If you don't want to be here, you can sit it out on the bench or sit it out in reserves. The problem that Arteta's got at the moment is with our injury list, he's got no option but to play him. So I think it's a tough decision for Arteta to make. Does he stick by his principles, or does he relent and go, you know what, let me play him? You know, and this is all speculation. If it is true that he wants out, because at the moment we don't know. It's just all, you know, these stories have come out. It just strikes me with what Arteta was saying in the press conference about it's all being dealt with in hand. It kind of strikes me that there is a little bit of substance to this story. Listen, Natasha, I'm going to come to you. What do you make of this whole situation?
Natasha's dropped off. He's lagging a bit. I think he's in the backstage.
Okay, so Simpy, I'm going to come to you. What do you make of this whole situation?
Just real quick before I jump into that, someone on Facebook, Nick, has asked, can Kieran Tierney play and what's Kieran Tierney's fitness update? So basically, Nick, they just said he's available for selection. It was just muscle cramps that he had against Southampton. That's why he went off. But yeah, Daniel, going on the whole Guendouzi situation, the thing is, I don't get where he's got this attitude from, because he's come from the middle table of League Two, got a big move to England, got a big move to the Premier League, got a big move to basically a French, known throughout France as Arsenal Football Club, really big club. He was brought in and everyone expected, it's just going to be another player that's going to sit in the under-23s or something and then be sold for like a little bit of a profit. But the fact that he actually got put into the first team and played like a lot of games, more than he probably expected and more than I think pretty much all the fan base expected. But like Sam mentioned, the whole attitude problem he had in Dubai, I wonder what actually has gone on over there, because like with Emery and stuff, everything seemed fun and dandy with him. He was performing okay-ish on the pitch. He was playing pretty much most weeks. And then as soon as Arteta's come in, he's kind of been, I think Arteta's had like a reality check and gone, why are we actually playing this guy when we've got other players that could potentially be better than him and we've got more experience or something? We don't want to like overwork him or something, which is something I believe that Emery was starting to do. But I agree with you, Daniel, to be honest. We've got too many like freeloaders at the club at the moment who are just here to like pick up the wage packet, go home, and then if they lose, they don't care. They just get the money and stuff. I think like pretty much everyone in the chat might agree with me as well. We just want people who are like committed to the club, committed to the badge, will fight on the pitch and off the pitch to get the place, and they won't have spats about money, about playing time or something. As long as they just perform on the pitch. But if we can get 40 million for him, then that could potentially be a good amount. Depends on where he's want to go. If it's going to be Leicester or something, do we want to sell it to Leicester, seeing as they're our rivals? Is it a player we'd want to give away? Or if it's going to be to Real Madrid or PSG, for example, then maybe that's a good opportunity if we can put in like some clause there. But then, like you said, are we going to use this money for Thomas Partey, or are we going to use this money to buy Thomas Partey's twin brother, who's like just started playing football, and we're going to pocket 35 million for it. We're going to pocket 35 million into Kroenke's bank and then just spend 5 million on his brother. So there's that option. But yeah, if his attitude isn't there, then yeah, get him gone, in my opinion.
And that's the other thing as well with Guendouzi's attitude. With Guendouzi's attitude, is that I don't actually. It is like you said. He's come in and he's played a lot of games under Emery. I just think his attitude and the way he's acting, I think it's just lack of maturity. I don't think it's anything more than that. I think it's just lack of maturity, and where Arteta's come in, and yes, he's an inexperienced manager because he's had no experience. But listen, he was right or wrongly, he was captain of Arsenal, and I think he knows that sometimes you've got to be mature in the way you act. And I think he's come in and he's looked at Guendouzi and gone, do you know what? I think you've had it easy for far too long. You played the number of games you have for far too long. And I think he's gone and looked at it. Well, actually, I think you need to mature a bit. And listen, I think he's just rubbed Guendouzi up the wrong way. And I think Guendouzi's just now biting back. And the fact that he's not being he's not first team for every game. I think he's taking it the wrong way, and I think he's lashing out. And I think he's just lashing out as a young player, that he is. Instead of knuckling down and proving his worth on the pitch, he's going about it all the wrong way. And listen, I can tell you something now. I think Guendouzi will go before Arteta does. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think I can't see him Arteta sticking with Guendouzi, and if we can get some money for him, you know, if the reports are true and it is 40 million euros, well, listen, that's going to be really tempting to Arsenal right now, because listen, if the reports are true that we are struggling for money for the transfer budget, listen, they're going to look on it and go, you know what, we'll take it all day long, because you can reinvest. And I think they're looking at that party deal. You know, if you believe the reports that his agent is in London for talks with Arsenal, I mean, listen, it's if you believe that those reports are true, then I think both of these deals, with Guendouzi leaving and Partey possibly coming in, have both legs to it. But listen, who knows? We'll have to wait and see. Nitesh, what do you make of this whole situation?
Daniel, he's gone again. He's in the background. He's lagging.
Jesus Christ!
I think he's in the background, but he said he's lagging. So I don't know if he dropped off himself or if he was just kicked out because of his lagging.
No, he's not backstage. What are people saying in the chat, Simpy? We'll go to the
chat. First of all, big up to everyone in the chat. There's a lot of people on Facebook as well. So good evening to everyone on Facebook and good evening to everyone on YouTube. So there was something that caught my eye, and I remember Kevin telling me about this as well. And Tyrone McIntyre put it. So big up Tyrone. I'm not gonna try to pronounce his name, but that Jesus, man, those seagulls. Jesus, that's the loudest I've ever heard it before. I think.
Yeah,
that's mad.
They're right. Don't worry about them. They're all right.
Yes. Yeah, so Tyrone said, that Dominic, so I can't even say this, man. Cebolowski. Some guy called Dominic Cebolowski. I think he plays Salzburg. Not Salzburg.
Oh, Schlop.
Schlopperschlei.
So Tyrone was saying he could be the perfect replacement, and then he said we should put a buyback clause in Guendouzi so we can sell him to somewhere, get some experience on him, and then if we want to buy him back, we can buy him back.
Schlopperschlei. It sounds like saying some name drunken. Schlopperschlei.
Yeah.
Schlopperschlei. Sounds like an STD, doesn't it? Sounds like an STD, doesn't it? Sorry, I had to go to the doctors because I got Schlopperschlei.
Fucking slop and slide. It sounds like a good Saturday night, isn't it?
Yeah.
Slop and slide. Let's go over a slop and slide, eh?
That'll be everybody next Saturday, and that'll be everyone next Saturday when the pub's open.
Yeah, true, after a few pints. Nitesh's backstage again.
What else have we got in the chat, Simpy?
So Omar, if Guendouzi wants to go, he can go. Not going to lose any sleep over these dead players. Gran, I would accept 30 or 40 million for Guendouzi. Arsenal are ruining him by giving him 100 games at the age of 19 and not bringing him in gradually. And then, big up Miss Molina, Bertrand, Ilias, Steve, Liam Damon, Tyrone, Taib. Yeah, and then big up everyone on Facebook as well. That's jumped in.
Yeah, and I just want to quickly say to you guys on Facebook, please do subscribe to the Blind Gooner as well, because I do other content on the YouTube channel. So if you're interested in that, please do go to the YouTube, search for the Blind Gooner, and then hit the subscribe button. And likewise on Facebook, on YouTube, please go and follow Nitesh's page on Facebook, Arsenal FC Fans. So please go and give that a like on Facebook. Nitesh, now you're back in the building. I'm going to get your thoughts on the Guendouzi situation.
Yeah, I feel like Cedric right now. I haven't even said anything, and half the podcast, like half an hour, is already gone.
It's okay. We'll sign you on an extension. It's okay.
We'll give you a 4-year deal. Don't worry.
Don't worry.
Yeah, with respect to Guendouzi's attitude, I don't have a problem with that. He actually tried to stand up for Leno, but he did that at the wrong time. That is a good thing. I mean, that's a bad thing. But one more thing I can say, that if Guendouzi was foolish, then probably he would have done the same thing in the game and probably gotten sent off. So he did that after the game, and he tried to like fight for Leno. I don't see any of the other players standing for each other, and they may fight against him because of the reason, as you know, the thing that happened with Sanchez, when Sanchez said that I am here to win games, and they were like, but we are here to enjoy the football. We are not here to win games. So that is the kind of thing, when someone in the team says that I'm here to win the games and you need to man up and you need to play better football, they get rid of him. I think that is one of the situations with respect to Guendouzi. Two things I'll answer also. One was Simpy's point. Where did he get the attitude from? He got the attitude from the French national side. He doesn't want to be another Lacazette. He wants to be a regular player in that team. He doesn't want to be dropped for every major tournament. And if he doesn't make the right choice right now, he'll never get into the French side full time. Second thing was, there was a question. I think someone said about why Guendouzi is right now making all these things, the issues. And the second thing, it will be handled internally. I think that is the handled internally part is with respect to probably getting him some kind of counseling with respect to his attitude. So that could be the thing. I don't think that was about maybe the transfer thing, because obviously if it is a transfer rumor, he's already, I think, been transferred. They were trying to sell him at the when Arteta got in as well. They didn't want him. I mean, Arteta didn't want him. So there was a rumor at that point of time that he will probably be sold in the summer. So I think this is just an extension of that. It is nothing new. If they get good enough money, they may probably even sell him. And the thing about the attitude, as I was saying, solving it internally, yeah, he has this mentality that he wants to win games, and probably that must be some kind of counseling they must be giving him, so that he doesn't take it out on his teammates. Rather, he focuses on the game and on the right things.
See, the thing with his attitude, I don't think it's just. Think it's just with what happened at the end of that game. Like Sam alluded to in his point about he did something in Dubai. Don't forget, he also was. He was one of the players who was sniffing balloons back along the first time, and then. He was with, I think, with Lacazette, not the second time. Don't forget, Lacazette's done it this time. But yeah, he's had a whole heap of attitude problems. I don't think it's what happened on the pitch. Because like Arteta said in his press conference after that game, he said that he likes that kind of fire in a player. It's just got to be controlled in the right way. So I don't necessarily think it's what happened after that game. I think it's the off-pitch stuff that he's alluding to.
See, I'll just add a couple of things. One thing is, you talked about the first party. Guess whose party that was the first time around? Mesut fucking Ozil. So it was his party where he invited everyone and they were doing balloons. Now, the second thing is, if tomorrow he plays against Sheffield, I think he's going to start that game. And if he plays that game and he performs well, I think everything will be gone in the past. There won't be any talk about this rumor or anything till the end of the season. It will all be gone, because he will then have performed against a Sheffield team. And if we go through, obviously we have United up next. So I think that everything will be gone and in the past if he performs tomorrow.
Yeah. And listen, I don't want to, we can only wait and see what happens with Guendouzi. We can only just speculate and talk about what might happen. I guess that's the situation for the end of the season, and we'll have to wait until the end of this season to see whether it progresses and whether he does leave the club, or whether it's just one of them board stories that I like to call them, that are just put out there for everyone's entertainment.
The thing is, people have to remember is there's big clubs after him, according to the rumours. Not middle.
I'm just going to turn on my lights.
Not middle of the table clubs, or lower level clubs. It's top European clubs that are after him. And if he wasn't that good, they wouldn't be after him. It's as simple as that. And for me, Guendouzi is such an underrated player because people don't see a lot of the good things he does. They don't see the way he passes, the way he distributes the ball is so much better than what Xhaka and Torreira and even Ceballos does. You know, there was a time he was holding the ball a bit too long, but he hasn't done that for a long time. Guendouzi has been much quicker on the ball than he has before, and with him, Guendouzi, the ball goes forward, and most of the time it goes in the right direction, and he's finding good passes. Watched the game against was it Brighton? Yeah, against Brighton. And I mean, it was bossing. It was bossing that midfield the first half, absolutely bossing it. None of the other players were even close to him in terms of distribution and the way he was playing. He has a lot to bring to this team. He's still young, and he should have someone next to him who's like a Partey or a Doucouré or someone who's like a ball winner who can do I was going to say the sloppy work, not the sloppy work, but the hard work, the ball winning work, the real
sloppy work.
The real sloppy work.
We already have one for the sloppy work. We
Sloppy
already have
Sly.
one player.
yeah. Or we can bring in Sloppy Sly. Anyway, to do the hard work, the ball winning, get in there, win the ball, then give Guendouzi, because Guendouzi is really good in transition. You give Guendouzi the ball, he'll go into transition, pass it on to the creative guy who then can maybe create a goal or whatever. Guendouzi, he has a lot to bring to this team. He's probably the second best midfielder we got at the moment, behind maybe I'll maybe put Torreira first when he's in form. Torreira in form is probably our best midfielder for me in terms of what he does. Then it's a Guendouzi. Then it's Xhaka, even though Xhaka, he's not brilliant, but he's still quite good at doing what he's supposed to be doing. He's just not good enough for us. And then I'll maybe put like a Ceballos behind there, and then maybe Ozil behind there again. But for me, Guendouzi is really underrated, and it would be a shame to let him go. I think he's ambitious. I think Nitish made a good point. Is he wants to be a part of the French national team. He's got ambition, and he's looking at the team. He's looking at this Arsenal team. And he's like, well, where's the leaders? Who wants to be here? Who's giving 110% for the club? I think he's frustrated about being one of the few players who actually gives 110%. And let's be honest, I remember last season when we had all this discussion about who should be club captain. I remember Guendouzi actually being mentioned in the captain's debate, because he was one of the few players who actually looked like he gave a shit, gave 110%, and was playing well. He was giving everything and playing really well. He was actually mentioned in the captain's debate. It's like, well, maybe Guendouzi's going to be a captain. He was doing that well at that level. So, it's so easy to forget all these things. It really is. And then also some guys in the chat were saying a good point as well. He's played far too many games for his age as well. We've relied on him far too much. Emery relied on him too much, and now we've been relying on him too much now as well with all our injuries and everything. He's playing too many games. He shouldn't be playing this many games at the age of 20. He should be playing less games and being rotated more.
Mm-hmm. Why is that a bad thing? He's playing too many games. Because
when you're a young player, you have to. It's to do with the mentality and form and things like that. You have to find the right form, and then when you start to drop off a bit on form, you should be rotated, and then you're given a chance again, maybe in a game or two again, and then you can find form again and maybe try and hit that high level of form. Also, it's to do with saving your muscles and things like that, so you don't burn out. You don't get injured like we did with we was using younger players before far too much. They got injured. It's a fine balance. It's why you don't unless the player is an absolute genius and like absolutely leagues above everyone else, and you just have to play him out of sheer necessity because he's your key player. That's a different story. But if he's not your key player, but he's just a good player showing good development, You can't play him all the time. You have to rotate him. A young player has to be brought in step by step, and then when he finally reaches that level you want, then you can keep him maybe in the team and he can cement the place in the first team. And Guendouzi, for me, is getting closer. I think next season, if we keep him, if he's coached right and he gets to play together with someone who's a ball winner together with him in midfield. Because at the moment, we're asking him to be a ball winner together with like Ceballos and Xhaka. You know, Guendouzi's not a ball winner. He's not supposed to be deep winning balls. He's supposed to be a deep lying playmaker. He's supposed to get the ball from the ball winner, transition with the ball quickly, directly, and pass the ball directly on to someone who's going to create a chance. That's what he's supposed to do, and that's what he's really good at doing. But when he's also being asked to be a defensive-minded player as well and go into tackles and try and go into a defensive position as a defensive midfielder, he's out of position a lot because he's not a defensive midfielder. He's a defensive, not defensive. Sorry, he's a deep lying playmaker. So it's not in his nature to be in all of the best defensive positions. That is for a ball-winning midfielder. That is for a defensive midfielder, and that's what we don't have at Arsenal. We haven't had a proper defensive midfielder. I mean, you can argue Torreira as a defensive midfielder, but we never use him as a defensive midfielder. We haven't really had a defensive midfielder at Arsenal, since the days of Vieira and Gilberto. That's just a fact.
Just real quick, Daniel, I've got to jump off now.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay.
Listen, Simpy's got to jump off, guys. His escort's turned up, so he's got to go.
Make sure you give her a tip.
Your mum's here now, Daniel.
What's that?
Give her a tip.
Yeah, give her the tip, not the whole thing.
Give her £5 and she'll give you a good blowjob. Take care.
Yeah. So listen, guys.
I have 3 points to make quickly. One thing,
quickly.
Yeah, Sam, we have another topic for debate for your chat show. Xhaka is better than Ceballos. You just said it in midfield. So we'll have that discussion on the late night show. But 2 more other points. When a player like Guendouzi has a great game like he had against Brighton and the team is shit and they lose and they fuck it up, obviously he's bound to be pissed in that game, after that game, in training next time. So that is bound to happen for any player. So I don't see what's the problem. If he has said something that shouldn't be said, that is okay. But does not mean that you get rid of him just because he has some issues with his attitude. If a player gives in his 110% and he expects the team to be winning those games, then there is nothing wrong with that. Because that is the winning mentality that we keep saying that we need. And if we say that we want to get rid of Guendouzi because of this mentality, then there is something wrong. There is some kind of doubt in our own words that we are saying, and it's a bit of hypocrisy. Apart from that, one more thing I would just like to add is that Guendouzi has some good qualities. There is no denying that. But it is the fan base that is the problem. They expect that every player will have a 10-pointer, or not just a 10-pointer, maybe a 7 or 8 in every match. They will be putting in such a good performance that it should be rated around 7 or 8 in every game. You need to understand that the guy was 19 last year and he will have some 7 or 8s, even some 9s at time, but he will have a 4 or 5 as well. Because the team around him is also not good enough and even he can have a bad day. But the thing is, the fans put so much expectation in such players that they want them to be getting like a 7 or 8 every game on an average, like their Kevin De Bruyne.
And also, one last point before we move on. Look at Xhaka. Look at his attitude. He's got a shit poor attitude. I mean, look. I mean, all of a sudden we've forgiven him for telling Arsenal fans to fuck off.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus Christ, if that was Guendouzi, he would have fucking been shipped away to fucking, I don't know, Yeovil Town or something the next day.
Yeah, exactly. The only thing that happened to Xhaka was he was dropped for a few games and that's about it. And he was back in the team and he might even become the captain in the near future again.
Jesus. Anyway, Daniel, mate, you got to turn some light on. You're a bit dark at the moment, mate. Your room's dark.
I've just turned the lights are on.
You probably turned them off.
No, mate, seriously, the lights are actually on.
Okay, well then you're dark anyway, so I'm just telling you.
I have no idea why I'm dark.
The Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah, the lights are on. I mean, my wife's just closed the curtains, which is probably not helped the situation.
That's probably not helped. Yeah.
But the lights are on, so apologies, guys, if I am a little bit dark. Unfortunately, without moving my whole entire setup to the middle of the room. I can't do nothing about that.
No, I can still see you.
And one more thing, I just want to quickly address a comment by Cheddars. He said Michael Owen would have been a world-class striker for longer if he played less games as a teenager. The problem with Michael Owen was his prime was in his teenage. He got injured. He never could cope back and get back that form, and that is why he could not. You can't say he was a world-class striker, but he was a great striker. And his prime, he said it himself on one of the shows on. I think he's on Sky, so he said it on Sky that I could have my prime came at a young age, very young age, and when I grew a bit older and all those injuries, it got saturated a bit. So I could not produce the same kind of form that I had as a youngster, as a teenager. So that was about that. Some players hit their prime at a very young age. Some players hit their prime at an older age, and some players just keep continuing having that prime, like Ronaldo and Messi. So that is about it. And if you see the example of Kevin De Bruyne, he hit his prime at an older age. When he was young, he was at Chelsea. He couldn't do that. Same thing goes for Paul Pogba. There are a lot of examples. So Michael Owen's case was an opposite one, and that is why probably he could not replicate his form at an older age once he was injured for a long time.
Yeah. So listen, we'll have to wait and see how the Guendouzi situation develops.
Yeah.
But listen, let's move on now because we're 40 minutes in and we've been talking about Guendouzi. So listen, how are you guys genuinely feeling about the game tomorrow? Listen, Arteta in his press conference, sort of intimated that that obviously the FA Cup, Arsenal have had a lot of success over the years with the FA Cup, and he's that listen, although a lot of people and a lot of teams don't value the FA Cup as much as the European competitions, it's still a competition. It's still a trophy at the end of the day. And listen, if we can go and try and win the FA Cup, listen, it's going to be very, very difficult with the likes of Man City still in there, with the likes of Man United in there, the likes of, who's the other one, Chelsea. So assuming that Man City, Chelsea, obviously United are through, and then assuming that we get through, listen, it's going to be a very, very, very tough semi-final if we can get there. So there's no guarantees of us even making the final. But yeah, how are you guys feeling? How are you guys feeling about the FA Cup, and are you looking on it?
For me, it's the only. I think it's the only. Yes, the only. Obviously, the only. I mean, that's just obvious. The only chance we've got silverware this season, and I think we should try and grab it. It's always good to win a cup. It's always good for the fans, the players, the morale of the club. To win a cup, we should definitely go for it. We're already in the quarterfinal, so let's go for it. I mean, the seasons are right off. I mean, there's not absolutely. I mean,
yeah.
The chances of getting. I mean, we might get a Europa League place. We might do, but we could also get a Europa League place by winning the FA Cup. So, we might as well just go for it. In my opinion, just prioritise the FA Cup. And we'll see tomorrow from the squad Arteta chooses, and the lineup here he chooses to go with, whether he wants to prioritise it or not. I have a sneaky feeling he's probably not going to prioritise it. That's just the feeling I have. I think he's just going to rotate players and just keep on rotating players. But yeah, for me, I would prioritise it. I'll put the best possible 11 we can on the pitch, because Sheffield United now, they've had 2 poor games, but now they've got their full team back now, because Egan is back from suspension. Henderson is back in goal after not being able to play against United. They've got pretty much their full team back now, and it's going to be tough to beat them. They're a tough team to beat when they have their full team there, and we're gonna have to play our very best and probably have a bit of luck on our side as well to beat them. But listen, we can beat them if we play like we did the last game, maybe even better. Then we have a chance, and then we'll we'll just have to hope that Aubameyang and Lacazette or Nketiah, whoever he chooses to play up front, with Aubameyang, that they can take their chances. And Aubameyang has to take his chances as well, because it's the only way we're going to win a game is if they take their chances up front. And at the moment, they're misfiring a lot. So, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see with the lineup tomorrow what kind of prioritisation Arteta has with the FA Cup.
Yeah, and I agree with you, Sam. We have to prioritise it because, like you say, our Premier League season is dead. There's we could possibly push for that 5th place because we're only 6 points off that 5th place. But even then, that's not a given, and it's the way we're playing at the moment. It's very unlikely that we're probably even going to get that 5th place. I think what Arteta is probably looking on it, and he's probably, and like you say, Sam, he's probably going to rotate because he's probably still wants to try and push up that league table into maybe the 6th or 5th place. But listen, this 5th place only guarantees you a Europa League spot. It's not a guarantee. Obviously, if Man City's ban is upheld, then it possibly has a little bit more significance. But listen, that's not a given, and the likelihood is that their ban is going to get overturned, and the even bigger likelihood is that we're going to fuck up along the way, which is a given.
The way you can look at it is the league is going to be, with the games we have remaining in the league, it's going to be a real struggle to get up to even 6th place, I reckon. Even 6th place is going to be a real struggle. Whereas if you look at the FA Cup, we're potentially 3 games away from getting a Europa League spot. If we win the quarter-final tomorrow, we win the semi-final, and we win the final, that's 3 games. We're only 3 games away, 3 knockout games, which we could potentially do. 3 knockout games from winning the FA Cup and getting a Europa League spot. So for me, that's the in inverted commas, easiest way to get there.
we wouldn't win the FA Cup even if we had Ronaldo and Messi in our team.
Well, it's the best chance we've got.
The problem is, Sam, is that we possibly, the FA Cup, the teams that are left in it, possibly United being the weakest out of the 3 other teams. Say we get through, United's possibly the weakest out of Chelsea, Man City, and United. You could probably, Man City being the toughest, Chelsea being that middle team. But then listen, they beat Man City, so listen, Frank Lampard's got them playing well, and he's got them ticking over at the right time in the season. But listen, winning the FA Cup will do wonders for Arteta, because he's only been in the job, well, you probably only say about 2 to 3 months, if you take out the pandemic causing a stop to the season and the end of the season being condensed. So yeah, it'll probably do wonders for his CV as a guy who's never managed a football club before. Listeners, in respects to Pochettino at Tottenham, you could probably look at these. If he wins the FA Cup, he will have done better than Pochettino at Spurs, which is a plus. But listen, it's a big ask. It's an incredibly big ask with this group of players that we've got who are so inconsistent, and the teams that are left in the FA Cup are strong teams. And listen, I can't see us. And listen, Sheffield are no pushovers as well. They're going to be a tough opponent. It is at their place. They're getting a lot of their players back,
that's what I said.
who are influential to their team, and it's going to be a tough afternoon if we don't get our shit together early on in the game. If we don't start the game strong, it could be one of them. I remember in the League Cup we went up to was it Bradford and got humiliated there. So yeah, it could be an embarrassing afternoon if we don't get our shit together.
Yeah, with respect to what will happen in the FA Cup, am I audible right now?
Yeah, I can hear
you. Yeah.
Yeah, there was some rain coming in again. Anyways, what I was saying is Arsenal players will do us a favor. We will get eliminated in the round against Sheffield United, and we won't have to be embarrassed by Chelsea, United, or Liverpool or Manchester City. I think that is what is going to happen. And but the only one factor that can go in our favor is that Sheffield United has to play Spurs next, so they have a lot of pressure with respect to that, and that is what Chris Wilder will be pressured into, whether which players he should be playing and which players he should be resting. That will be a dilemma for him as well. The other thing is, what I'm trying to say is, this Arsenal team winning the FA Cup with the teams that are left, not going to happen. Chelsea will beat us, United will beat us, and even Manchester City can beat us. So we need four miracles in a row. The first miracle, okay, you can't say that is a miracle. Okay, that can happen. There is like 40% chance that we can beat Sheffield United, but we need three miracles after that.
Two miracles.
Sorry, two miracles. Yeah, the semis and the finals. We'll need two miracles after that. So, if you consider the factor that which teams are left, Manchester City, the only advantage that we can think of is that Aguero is out for the season. With respect to Chelsea, the only advantage that I think is that Manchester City were a bit complacent when they lost to Chelsea. They were not. They Pep had already said that we are not going to win the title. It's Liverpool's title, and they didn't seem like 100% City side, like which would be fighting there for their lives. So that wasn't the case there. Maybe they are more concerned with the FA Cup and the Champions League. That could be the reason. The next thing is with respect to United. If United is as bad as how they played tonight, then we would have a chance probably. But the thing is, tonight United had a lot of players left out. Like Marshall wasn't playing, Rashford I think was a substitute, Pogba was a substitute. So there were a lot of factors. With respect to Sheffield, they will have their best team playing against us, and we will not be playing our best team. That is for sure, because otherwise Arteta wouldn't be training these youngsters. So do we have a chance? We have a 30 to 40% chance of winning this game and going through to the next round. But as I said, we need three miracles if we want to win the FA Cup.
And the other thing is as well, if I was Chris Wilder, just looking at it from a Sheffield point of view, if I was Chris Wilder, I'd be licking my lips at the moment at the chance of playing Arsenal. The way we are, we're so inconsistent, and it's probably his best chance to get a big scalp in the FA Cup and get into the semi-finals. And listen, Sheffield have had a great season. I've had a fantastic season. And topping it off by winning the FA Cup with the teams that are left in it, that'll probably just cap off his season. So I don't think we can say that he's going to be in a dilemma with that Spurs game. I think the FA Cup would mean more than winning that Spurs game, because the league position doesn't get you like I say, it's not a trophy at the end of the day. Whereas the FA Cup for a club like Sheffield, it's his first season back in the Premier League, and he finishes fifth or sixth place and wins the FA Cup. I think that'll be a massive feather in his cap. And if he can do it, knocking out some of the big boys, so to speak, that's an even bigger feather in his cap. So I don't think we can look at it. I don't think we can look at it that he's going to take it. He's going to take his eye off the ball. I think he's going to be fully up for this game, and he's going to be marshalling those Sheffield United players, and he's going to be saying to them, "Listen, we beat Arsenal once before. We can do it again." So I think we, as Arsenal fans and the Arsenal players, can't get complacent. We have to take this game seriously, because Sheffield are going to be fully up for it. And listen, I fully expect a difficult afternoon. I think it's going to be incredibly difficult, and we know that they're going to sit 10 men behind the ball and try and make it difficult. And they're quite a physical team, and we don't deal well with physical teams because we have not got no physical players that can deal with that. Apart from Lucas Torreira, we've got no fit players who can stand up to that kind of physicality. So we've got to be completely on our game.
Torreira's not even in this game. He's not going to be fit for.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. We've got no players who can deal with that level of physicality.
And that was seen against Brighton as well. But one more thing is there. I feel that Chris Wilder knows that he has no chance of winning the FA Cup because he just played United a few weeks ago. Last week, and they beat him 3-0. So that was the game where United didn't even look their very best, but they dominated the game. And Sheffield will not have a problem. They cannot play Henderson against United, and they were obviously Egan got sent off as well. So they have the problem, and they know that they can't possibly win the FA Cup with City and Chelsea also being there. But what they have, the advantage in the Premier League, they just probably need to hold on, because they know Arsenal has some tough fixtures coming up, and if they can not drop points and probably even play out a draw against Spurs and some of their upcoming games, they can win. I think they can assure themselves that they will probably be in the Europa League. So I think Chris Wilder's focus will also be on the Premier League more than the FA Cup.
Let me say something, Nitesh, because you made a point. I don't think any team at this point in the FA Cup was not going to think that they can win it. I think if you're in the FA Cup, you believe that you can win it. I don't think that would be unprofessional of a team to go, listen, we're not going to win the FA Cup, so there's no point in trying. I don't think he's going to approach that game. I don't think he's going to approach that game thinking that he can't win it. That's not what footballers and football managers do. Yes, in all probably, you're probably right. They probably won't win it, but they're not going to go. He's not going to go and tell his players, "Oh, don't worry, lads, you've got no chance of winning the FA Cup, so there's no point in trying." I don't think he's going to do that.
What I wanted to say is, like, if you saw the Norwich thing, Norwich knows, the manager knows that they're going to get relegated. So he did not play 3 of his main players from the start in the last game. He played them in the FA Cup, hoping that we could get something out of the game tonight and probably beat United. It did not work out. Now Chris Wilder has an advantage in hand. He has a league position, a favorable league position, which can actually get him Europa League. So I think he will prefer to use the advantage in hand and focus on that rather than go for a FA Cup win, because even if he beats Arsenal, he has 3 teams which are in top form and doing way better than Arsenal. So I think he will not want to drop or let go of that advantage which he has in the Premier League just for an FA Cup win. They may end up beating us anyways, but the thing is, I think his main focus right now will be the Premier League and retaining the position that he has and probably qualifying for Europe from there.
I don't know. I disagree.
He does have to think a bit about the league as well, and the Spurs game as well. Well, that's true. Wilder does have to think about that, but I think he's also got this thing about him where he's, he respects the competition and FA Cup, and he also wants to win it. I think Wilder would love to win the FA Cup, and so I think he's going to put out as strong a team as he can. To be honest, that's what I think. He's going to put out the strongest team he can against Arsenal. And it's going to be up to Arteta to counter that, to say, okay, are we also going to go for this FA Cup now, or are we going to try and just sort of prioritise? We're going to go for the league, pushing up the league table now, see if we can get as far up the league table as possible. For me, that would be stupid, because we play Norwich the next game after that. We might as well just give it our all to tomorrow, and then we can maybe rest a couple of players against Norwich, because let's face it, Norwich is the one team we absolutely should be winning in our remaining fixtures. Norwich is not a team we should be resting players for, to be honest. So, we should be able to play our full team, or the best team we can available tomorrow. And then if we do need to rest players midweek on Wednesday against Norwich, then we might have to rest them against Norwich. But, we should definitely not be resting players for an FA Cup tie tomorrow. No way.
Yeah, and listen, before we move into the predicted lineup, I just want to remind everybody, please do stick a like on the video and do subscribe if you are new. And don't forget, tomorrow we are going to be doing a watch-along for the Sheffield United v Arsenal game. That game kicks off at 1 p.m, so we're going to be live on air at 12:30 in the afternoon. So set your watches for that, because it's coming your way tomorrow. So let's get into the lineup, guys.
Daniel Simpson is in the backstage.
Yeah. Let's get into the lineup, guys, because it's going to be a changed lineup, isn't it? It's going to be Arteta's already hinted that he's going to do some rotation.
Simply, that was a quickie.
Sorry?
I said that was a quickie.
Yeah. His escort obviously. He obviously gave her the boot, Yeah, obviously she didn't match the profile picture, He got Beyonce's profile picture, and then Susan Boyle walked in, and he was like, "Nah, there's no chance." So yeah, let's get into the lineup, guys. Let's get into the lineup and what you think it'll be. Like I said, Arteta's hinted that there's going to be changes. Obviously, it's going to be Martinez in goal. So the back line, what are you guys thinking for the back line?
Who are you going to start with?
Is David Luiz back?
Yep.
Yes. Yeah.
Then he's going to be playing, definitely. No doubt about it. He's going to be playing.
Okay, so I'm going to go through, and any of you can jump in. So right back.
Cedric.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Cedric's ready. I think.
No, he's not. He's not going to be ready for this game.
People said Cedric is ready. There was news that he's ready.
He's not.
I saw on Arsenal.com that he was. I saw that on Arsenal.com that he was not quite ready.
He's ready. He's ready next week.
But listen, it wouldn't surprise me if Arteta puts him in, because he said that about Xhaka again, and he put him in for this game. He said, "Oh, I was not sure that he's ready, possibly for the Sheffield game," and then he put him in against Southampton. So it wouldn't surprise me if he does throw him in there, or even at least give him half an hour to 45 minutes.
But
so,
if
he's
not fit, then in my opinion, I would want Niles to play there, but he's going to play Socrates.
Oh, that's a
no, he's going to play Bellerin.
No, he's going to play Socrates.
He's going to do Bellerin. Come on, let's be honest. Bellerin is...
Bellerin has anyways been awful. Bellerin has been awful.
But just because he's awful doesn't mean to say that Arteta's not going to pick him. I think he'll stick with Bellerin unless, like I say, Cedric comes in. But yeah, I think it's going to be Bellerin, in my opinion.
Okay.
If Socrates is fit, then it's going to be Socrates. He's going to take the alternative. Yeah.
Yeah, because Socrates hasn't played as centre back under Arteta, has he? He's only played as right back.
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't like him at right back at all. I don't think anyone does.
No,
I
but
don't like him at centre back neither. So listen.
No, but the main problem is Bellerin has been awful. Socrates hasn't been that bad. So I think he will try Socrates in this game, and probably if he does perform better than Bellerin, then play him in the league as well.
I'm just reading here about Suarez. It says it's updated on the 24th of June. It says integrating back into full training following facial injury. Successful procedure has taken place further to nasal fracture sustained in training. Aiming to be available for selection after Sheffield United. So he's available after the Sheffield United game.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's got to be Bellerin. I mean, Socrates, I know he's talked about Socrates in that position, but come on, Socrates at right back, really? I mean,
Bellerin has been as bad. It's like Bellerin
can move his feet. Socrates can't even fucking move his feet.
No, I'm saying that will be Arteta's choice. I would play Niles, obviously. I would play Niles.
Yeah, no, well, if we can force him to play, then we're going to have to force him at gunpoint or something. So
yeah. Okay, then, guys. Centre backs.
David Luiz.
David Luiz.
Reckon he's going to get back with Mustafi? I think Mustafi's going to play.
I think who's the other guy we have? We have just Holding and Luiz. So I think Holding and Luiz, maybe Holding and Luiz.
So he's going to rest Mustafi.
Yeah, he may not want to break that momentum that Holding has from the last game.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, I'll probably keep the same pairing for stability. To be honest, I wouldn't rest either of those. They're centre backs. They're centre backs. They're not forwards.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, I would keep Holding and Mustafi. That's who I would go with.
I just hope that Holding doesn't play the game and get injured then. That is what
Yeah,
I don't know.
that'd be typical. If he got injured, yeah, he's going to break a
Yeah.
leg or something. Fucking break his
Yeah.
neck or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Left back.
Left
Kolasinac.
back.
Kolasinac. It's going to be
Kolasinac.
Kolasinac.
Yeah.
Because
It's
Tierney had cramp, didn't he, against Brighton? So, against
Southampton.
Southampton.
Yeah.
So they're going to rest him. So it's going to be Kolasinac and his wife with the taser.
Okay, so midfield. Obviously, it's going to be Granit Xhaka.
Yeah, and
No, he's back. It's going to be Xhaka.
Yeah, it's going to be Granit Xhaka.
I don't think so. I think it will be Guendouzi and Ceballos.
Really?
No, I don't think. I don't think Guendouzi's going to get into this game. I don't think Guendouzi's going to get in this game. Listen, I think he'll be left out. He might make the bench, but I don't see him starting this game. And I can't unless they've kissed and made up. I can't see him. I just think that I can't see Guendouzi making the starting lineup for this game.
I
think
so it's gonna. I think he's gonna stick with Xhaka, Ceballos, and then he's gonna have Saka. Because listen, Saka's done all right in that. Saka's done all right in that position where he's played. He's not had a bad game at all, really. And then I think obviously he'll have obviously Pepe as well.
I have a different thinking on that. He's gonna rest Saka because Saka almost picked up a knock in the last game, so he's not gonna start. It's gonna be Willock, it's gonna be Guendouzi, and it's gonna be Ceballos.
Yeah, that's a good shout, I think.
With Pepe.
Pepe will be up front. Pepe will be on the right wing.
Yeah.
I know I'm being controversial here now. But on the right-hand side, I'd actually like to give Reece Nelson a go.
I think he will start this game.
Because Pepe, apart from that goal, he did fuck all. And he's done fuck all the last few games, Pepe. So, for me, I'll give Reece Nelson a go, see what he can do.
Yeah. I think it will be Nketiah center, Reece Nelson right, and probably who can play left.
Aubameyang.
I don't think it's going to be Aubameyang. It's going to be someone else who's left to play left on the left wing. Maybe Saka will not play in the center. Saka may be pushed forward to his natural position, and maybe he'll get someone else in the midfield as well. Or maybe Xhaka, Guendouzi, and Ceballos.
You know, I think Lacazette will start this game. You know, because he was left out of the last game. I think Laka will start this game. I think it'll be Laka down the middle, and I also could see Özil starting this game as well.
Where will Ozil play? But he doesn't fit into this kind of formation.
But I could see him play. No, but I could see him getting in there. Do you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if he pushes Ozil up top, up left.
You mean like how Wenger used to play initially?
Yeah. He's done that before, hasn't he? I know he's done that before.
I wouldn't be surprised if he does Ozil out left.
And again, that's just going to piss me off because again, that's putting a square peg in a round hole.
Do you know what? Listen, Sam, I agree with you, but listen, do you know what, Arteta? It strikes me, and right or wrongly, whether you agree with this, I'm starting to see slight
Wenger and Arteta.
Yes, yeah. There's no other way of saying it. I'm starting to see because he played under Wenger, he idolized Wenger. I'm starting to see a little bit of Wenger in him, and that's not saying that that's a bad thing. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but I'm starting to see that he's obviously the formation he's obviously got from Guardiola, but the listen, with certain changes and that, I'm starting to see Wenger. I might be wrong, and I hope I'm wrong, but that's my gut feeling that from what I'm seeing from Arteta in the last couple of games.
I have a question. Is it the new Wenger or the old one?
That's
It's not the old one. Don't worry, it's not the old one. The old Wenger actually put players in their right positions. The new Wenger didn't. He put fucking players everywhere.
But again, I agree with one thing that probably
that's because he was more interested. That's because he was more interested in having affairs than concentrating on the football team.
Is there a story that we don't know about yet?
Come on. We all seen the old reports.
Are you trying to bring something up here?
Hey, listen, I'm just leaving it out there, but let's
was Wenger a Ryan Giggs or John Terry in disguise?
Yeah. Ryan Giggs.
Listen, I seen the reports. So yeah, you guys might not have seen the reports, but let's just say that
they called him the fans called him a paedophile. I mean, the United fans and the Liverpool fans called him a paedophile, didn't they? Initially,
what, Wenger?
For some reason, yeah.
Yeah,
for some reason.
Well, his wife left him because he had an affair.
Yeah, well, that happens, doesn't it?
Which
that happens in life. Just ask the Tish. He's all over Twitter. He is. He knows.
But the only thing is, I don't have a wife.
No, but you got what? How many? You got 5. You got 5. What? You haven't got one wife. You got 5. I bet.
I feel like a sheikh. I can probably buy Arsenal now.
Yeah.
But let's go back to the lineup.
Natish and herpes have got one thing in common: they're everywhere.
Let's go back to the lineup. What I wanted to say is probably
let's just deflect it now. Deflection.
Yeah. Okay. So back to the lineup.
I think everyone knows about my Twitter fetish. So I think there's no secret about it. Anyone who follows me on Twitter knows about it. So I don't need to hide anything. But yeah, what I was saying with respect to the lineup is Lacazette can play at the center. Maybe Nketiah on, maybe Reece Nelson on the right and Nketiah on the left. That could be a combination.
Maybe, yeah. I'd like to see Reece Nelson given a chance instead of Pepe, to be honest, because Pepe I'm starting to get worried about the guy, to be honest. I really am. It might be a bit early to say this, but he's starting to worry me. I mean, by now surely he should be showing something. I mean, he had that one good shot, but come on. I mean, the guy, he should be doing more at this stage, surely. I mean, really, am I the only person thinking this?
We need more pinchers.
I'm not getting worried for Pepe in the sense that I don't think he'll be a good player for us, but I think he. Do you know what, with Pepe, right? And him and Nketiah strike me as two very, very similar players. That when I see both of them, they like. Nketiah is trying to impress, and he just needs to get the basics right. Whereas Pepe, if he just stick to the basics rather than trying all this fancy fucking footwork like he's at a ballerina club, then he would probably do a lot better. And they're both very similar, and they're trying too hard in what to do, right? And they're forgetting about the basics of playing football. So in the sense that they are very similar. Two very similar players in that they're trying too hard in what they're trying to do, whereas they just need to calm the fuck down and just do the basics right. Because if both of them do the basics right, they could both be very, very talented players. So I think that just comes with maturity. And even Pepe, I say that with maturity, because obviously he's playing in a new league, and he's obviously Arsenal have had more change than a woman on menopause this last season. So, I think we just need to. I think with them, with Pepe and Nketiah, they just need to get a little bit more of a footballing brain.
Well, it's also, I think it's also to do with Bellerin, because him and Bellerin have no connection, no relationship on the field. They don't connect, they don't play well together. And you saw it in the stats against Brighton. We had on the left hand side there was 17 what they call meaningful connections where Saka or Tierney, or Saka and Tierney basically connected 17 times along the left side, with successful passes and successful connections. That was 17 times. And on the right-hand side, there was only 4. There was only 4 successful connections between Pepe and Bellerin. So it goes to show you that right-hand side, and we've seen this in the games as well, our right-hand side is not working whatsoever. So I want to give Pepe a chance because you see the ability is there. I just think we need a good right back. If we have a good right back to work with him, who can overlap and connect better with him, I think we would get a lot more out of Pepe. We really would.
Yeah.
And I'd love to see us bring in a good right back this summer as well. Probably not going to happen, but we need a good right back.
It'd be interesting to see what Cedric Suarez can do. Because he was a good player at Southampton in a shit team, so it'd be interesting to see. What he can do.
There's a lot of people actually talking about Suarez, saying that we're completely underrating him, like we've previously done with other players. We don't really rate that we've got wrong. I mean, look how many players we haven't rated. We got wrong. Like Johnny Evans, Seunchu, Cahill. I mean, all of these players we said we didn't want, we could have had. They've gone on to be a lot better than what we have, and there's a lot of people saying that Suarez is that player that he actually, some of his appearances for Southampton have actually been good, and he is a player that has some potential to come in and do a good job for us. So listen, I'm not going to write off Suarez until we actually see him and give him a chance. I think we have to do that at least before we start talking about it. But yeah, I'd love to see. I mean, I would love it if Suarez could come in and do a better job than Bellerin. There'll be nothing better than that, because we need a right back who can actually connect with Pepe and play with Pepe and overlap Pepe and give him the space he needs. Because at the moment, Pepe has to do all the work himself because Bellerin there's just no support in Bellerin whatsoever.
And I just think with Bellerin, I think his knee injuries fucked his whole career. I don't ever see him being a good player again. He's lost a yard of pace. He's not interested. He's openly come out and said that even though he's a footballer, he doesn't like football. So I think then when you come out making comments like that, if you don't like football, how are you going to understand how to play the game? So I just think. Yeah, I think we should cut our losses with Bellerin. I think his time is done. He only had one.
He's got the right attitude either, has he?
Yeah, no, he's not got the right attitude. And he's one of those players that have got that toxic attitude, And when he come out and said that, what was it? The reason that they didn't like Sanchez is because he had a winning mentality. What sort of fucking? Who fucking says that? Do you know what I mean? Really? You're going to slate someone for their winning mentality? Get a grip. Do you know what I mean? God, I tell you what, I said it and I'll say it again. If he was in the dressing room and he said that to Patrick Vieira, I tell you, I'd be up against the wall and probably bent over. Do you know what I mean? Patrick Vieira would have, and Tony Adams would have given him a pasting.
Exactly.
Christ. So if he thinks that was winning mentality, he should have been in the dressing room with some of those guys.
Yeah, and one more thing I just wanted to add that probably it could be Willock on the left in midfield, Guendouzi at the center, and Maitland-Niles at the right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I would actually at this stage I'll be prepared to be giving Maitland-Niles a chance in the middle of the park, since we have all these injuries and players haven't been playing well, I mean, I would give it's a chance to let him have a chance, it's an opportunity to let him have a chance there in the middle of the park. I would maybe see how he does in that central role, maybe with a bit more defensive responsibility, see if he can make use of that. I would give him a chance at least and see how he does.
Yeah, because he came on as a sub, didn't he, against Southampton, I think, towards the end, right? But yeah, I think with the lack of funds that we potentially have in the summer as well, maybe playing Maitland-Niles, giving him some playing time as well, will will keep him in the team. Perhaps.
I mean, if he does a good job and he shows he can do that job, then yeah, sure, it's give him a chance. I mean, we can't be letting people go who are actually producing and doing it well. We give him a shot, and if he does well, then we can keep him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then obviously the strikers, the forwards, the who would you have in? Because I honestly do think Lacazette will come back in.
Well, this is what we've just been talking about, don't we? We reckon there's going to be Lacazette coming in, most likely down the middle, and then on the right, I'd like to see a Reece Nelson on the right.
Reece Nelson.
And then on the left, it'll be on the left. It might be Aubameyang, or it might not be Aubameyang. It might be maybe an Nketiah or something like that. Who's going to be playing slightly out of position? Because either way, there's going to be someone out of position there up front. Because if he's going to absolutely use three forwards, someone's going to be out of position.
Yeah, and he couldn't, and Nketiah couldn't lead the line against Southampton, so probably he's going to be switched to the left maybe for a game. Could be the case. And Aubameyang maybe coming on as an impact player, like Emery was using him at the start.
Yeah. And
I think Aubameyang needs a rest. To be honest, he's played many games now.
Yeah,
he looks really. What's the word I'm looking for? He looks jaded. That's what I'm looking for. Yeah. He looks jaded, like he needs a rest. It's like he's mentally just gone at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need him to score some goals against Norwich.
Yes, please. Well, I don't have him in my team at the moment, but yeah. He might come back. He might come back in my team soon at the Fantasy Premier League.
What are people saying in the chat, Simpy?
So a lot of people have gone. Yeah, Tierney won't play tomorrow. Sheffield United will win 2-1. That was done by Alian and Miss Molina. Bellerin's the only player Steve would change from last game. It will be Bellerin, Mustafi, Holding, and Kolasinac. Grant says. Omar's gone with Holding and Socrates and Kolasinac as left back. Grant's gone with Xhaka and Sabaz in midfield. Omar, Xhaka and Torreira, but Torreira's injured. Omar, Nelson at right wing, Saka at left wing. And then Grant mentioned, same as what Sam's point, it's Bellerin's fault ruining Pepe for not overlapping. Pepe was class at Lille because he had an overlapping right back who actually helped him. And John, the Revanite, big up. Bellerin is useless. He's painful to watch.
Yeah, he is.
That's the problem. Niles is an idiot. If he would link up with Pepe right now, that team could have done so much down the right-hand side. It could have been a superb team. But he's an idiot who doesn't want to play on the right-hand side. Tomorrow, if suppose he plays right midfield and Pepe comes on as the right winger for some time, then he will see the difference. He will understand the difference then. What a game that can be. And if Arteta has the brains, he will actually play Pepe as right winger and Niles in right midfield, and then try to link those two guys up. If that happens, that can also be a deadly combination.
Yeah. Well, listen, I guess we just have to wait and see what happens. And
what's our predictions? We've got to give our predictions, haven't we?
Yeah. I was just going to get into that. Listen, Sam, we'll start with you. What's your prediction for tomorrow?
I'll tell you what. I'm actually feeling slightly confident for tomorrow for once, because we are pretty good in the FA Cup. We're a cup team, Arsenal. We're normally quite good in knockout competitions like this, and I think we just won the game. We should have a bit of confidence with us. We should have a bit of momentum from the last game. And if the players actually want to give 110%, I think we've got a chance tomorrow. I think we'd like to win the FA Cup. I'm hoping Arteta can motivate the players to realise that the FA Cup is an important cup. It's a nice trophy to win. I'm thinking maybe a narrow victory tomorrow. I'm thinking 2-1 victory tomorrow to Arsenal. That's what I'm going for. Yeah.
Yeah. Nitesh, score prediction for tomorrow?
I'll tell you the entire story that I have in my head right now. I'm saying a 1-1 draw. Sheffield score first, then they defend. Arsenal equalizes. Then we go to what happens is then we go to extra time. None of the team scores. Then we lose it on penalties.
Could happen. Could happen.
Simpy, listen, Nitesh, you've sort of read my mind on some of my score prediction. But listen, I'm going to go to Simpy's and then I'm going to give you mine. Simpy, what's your score prediction for tomorrow?
So mine's similar to Natesh's. I think in the first 90 minutes it's going to be 1-1, and towards the end we're all going to be here like, oh my god, how's he missed that? Like to all the Sheffield United players at the end. And then I think Arteta's going to make 2 subs in extra time, and then with 5 minutes to go, we're going to get like a lucky goal, and then we're going to win within extra time, win 2-1 narrowly, but just get over the line.
Right.
See,
Yeah.
I think it'll be a 1-1 draw, and we'll win it on penalties. That's
Cool.
yeah. See, that's why I was laughing at Nitesh's, because he had it.
Yeah.
He had it the same thinking, but then the only change is he thinks we'll lose on penalties. See, I think we'll win on penalties.
Yeah, the reason I said that is, come on, Martinez versus Henderson. You would back Henderson any day.
Yeah, but do you know what? Do you know why I actually think we could win on penalties? Because listen, Martinez has got a point to prove, and he's had a point to prove at Arsenal for a long time, and now this is his chance to prove. And he's done all right, Martinez. You know, since his game against Southampton, he didn't really do anything wrong. Really, he didn't. There was nothing there that you thought, Jesus Christ, Martinez, what are you doing?
He had a couple of good saves.
Yeah, he actually had a really sound game. So I actually think he's taking his chance.
And that long ball, the cross that...
Yeah, the long ball to Aubameyang, that was really good. That was really good.
And if he can
distribution.
He could do more of that, then why couldn't he push to start over Leno, even when Leno gets back? Listen, he's got the keeper spot at the moment, so it's now up to him to kind of own that position. And when Leno does come back next season, it's going to be very, very hard for him to get in. So this is Martinez's chances to sort of lay down a claim for that goalkeeping spot.
Well, it's now or never. It's now or never, really, isn't it? It's for him. I mean, this is it now. He's going to have until the rest of he's going to have the rest of the season now to show what he's good for, and it's going to be now or never. He's either going to show that he's good enough to maybe, keep Leno maybe on the bench for the start of the next season, or that's it. He's going to have to go somewhere. He's not going to. If Arteta says, "Listen, I'm going to stay with Leno," then Martinez is going to have to go, isn't he?
No, I think we have had an advantage here, because Leno won't be starting the next season probably exactly like from the first game, maybe, because but he was recovering like by the end of the season, right? So
let's say 4 to 6 weeks until he's training again.
So I think pre-season it will be Martinez and not Leno, possibly.
Maybe pre-season, yeah.
So that could help us retain Martinez, who was probably heading out of the club. And you know what the funny part is? The Liverpool fans in the chat are predicting an Arsenal win. And I have a bit of doubt on whether that will happen, but they have confidence in Arsenal beating Sheffield United.
Yeah. Okay, so Simpy, what are people saying in the chat? What are their score predictions?
Yeah, so we got Molina and Allian predicted 2-1.
Oh my god, what the bloody hell's going on with my bloody phone? Carry on.
Yeah, Molina and Allian predicted a 2-1 Sheffield United win. John, the Revenite, has gone for a 1-0 Arsenal win. Cheddars has gone for a 3-0 Arsenal win. Liam Tuck's football's gone for a 1-1, but then we win on penalties. And that's all the predictions we've got in the chat, I think. Or did that's just the prediction so far.
And Brownie said that Sheffield has run out of steam. And there was another prediction, Simpy.
Sorry. Joseph, Connor Golden, big up Joseph, has gone for a 2-1 Arsenal win. Grant's gone again, a 1-1 draw, and then Arsenal to win on penalties. And Omar's gone for a 2-1 win as well.
Yeah. Listen, big up to everybody who's watching live. Listen, guys, I think we'll probably wrap up there, because I think that's. Listen, we've previewed the game, we've gone through the lineups, and we've gone through the score predictions. So So yeah, listen, guys, I think that's probably a good time to wrap up. So what I'm going to do is our usual ending, and I'm going to go around to each of you in turn and just give your platforms a shout out. So Sam, I'm going to come to you first.
I hope it's a happy ending. Anyway, yes, thank you very much, everyone, for having me on today, especially Daniel, of course, for having me on as always. It's been really good. Big up to everyone in the chat, all the regulars there. You know who you are. You guys are awesome. You guys really help make this show, and the interaction's great. Yeah, you can follow me on my channel, Sam Greenwood TV. I'll be having a late night chat show in about 45 minutes. So you can go over there and watch that if you want, or you can be an idiot and not do it. Yeah, so I'll be doing, that's my thing. I'll be doing late night chats about Arsenal and football stuff, latest news, having a few debates with this crazy guy beneath me called Nitish. And yeah, I'll be doing some quizzes as well. Yeah, I did a quiz last night on Nitish's Facebook page. Go and check that out. Yeah, so that's what it's basically going to be. And we're doing a lot of watch-alongs together with Daniel here on the Blind Gouda channel, which is really good. We do really good watch-alongs. It's good fun to watch that, so stay tuned for that. Of course, we have one again tomorrow against Sheffield United in the FA Cup. Yeah, and you can follow me on Twitter as well, at 1980_Greenwood. Put out some stuff there now and again as well. So, yeah, check my channel out again, Sam Greenwood TV. Subscribe, please, and check out my videos and like them. That'd be great. And I hope everyone has a good night and stay safe.
Yeah, and Nitesh?
Yeah, and Sam just forgot the biggest point that he should have made. Holding is a legend.
Paolo Maldini, eat your heart out. Eat your heart out.
Yeah, Holdini.
Yeah, Holdini. Yes, they're going to call him Holdini now.
Yeah, you can, guys, thank you for your support and for tuning in. And you can find me on Arsenal FC Fans, which is on Facebook. And also you can find me on Beyond the Post and on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. And as Sam said, yes, we did a quiz last night, and Simpy, the winner, right to
First time winner. First time winner, yeah, first time.
Yeah, right to my right. And he was the winner yesterday. And we are planning something related to a quiz, maybe some kind of a death match kind of thing, or maybe an open quiz, and we'll get in as many participants as possible. So let's see. But the thing about the quiz is, yeah, Revenite was also there. And the thing about the quiz will be, it will be about football. So let's see what we can plan out. And as you already know, on Arsenal FC Fans, there is a contest going on where you just need to predict the last player that Arsenal will sign in the summer transfer window, that is 2020 summer transfer window. And I'm going to be joining this guy above me in a late night chat in like an hour.
Yeah, and Simpy, give your platforms a shout out.
Yeah, sure. Nitesh still owes me £50 for winning that quiz yesterday. Yeah, my Twitter, YouTube, Instagram is just Simpy141. Do a weekly Fantasy Premier League show where most of the time I'm joined by Nitesh, and then sometimes either Daniel, Sam, Kevin, or John, the Revenite as well, and sometimes Cheddars, where we go through a preview show with all the Fantasy League players that we're going to pick. And then I just started a FIFA Road to Glory today as well, which is quite fun. So yeah, just check out my channel. Thanks, Daniel, for having me on.
Yeah, no worries. And listen, thanks to everybody who's tuning in, and please go and check out all of their platforms and social media, because listen, great guys, great bunch of guys. So yeah, go and check them out. Subscribe to their channels. That would be great. And don't forget, guys, tomorrow at 12:30, we're going to be on air for the watch along of Sheffield United versus Arsenal. So stay tuned for that. Yeah, listen, do subscribe to the Blind Gouda if you are new, and do keep liking the content, sharing the content. I'd really appreciate that. And I just want to thank everybody who's tuning in on Nitesh's page as well to the stream. Thank you all for tuning in. And yeah, listen, we'll see you all tomorrow for the watch along. I hope you all enjoy the rest of your Saturday evening, because tomorrow it's probably going to be dramatic in true Arsenal style. So I hope you all enjoy the peaceful evening before all the drama starts tomorrow. So yeah, we'll catch you all for the watch along. Until then, it's a goodbye from me and a goodbye from the panel.
Bye.
And what's
Bye. Holding's
Arsenal win
legend.
the league? Arsenal win
Holding's
the league on
legend.
Simpy's channel. Arsenal winning the league on Simpy's channel in FIFA.